Hello and welcome to this video on how to build a simple survey in Jisc Online Surveys. In the course of the video, I'm going to show you how to import a template that your institution might provide, like the university I work at, or build an entire survey from scratch. So I'm going to show you how to create your participant information sheet, how to add in a consent form, a demographics questionnaire, and also a standardized questionnaire, which in this example is going to be the GAD-7. So here's how to do it. Start by logging in to Jisc Online Surveys version 3. From the dashboard, click on Create Survey. You have two options, from scratch or from import. Most people will start from scratch, but if you're in an institution that provides you with templates, you can use the import function to copy in that template. Click on Import and then drag and drop the file or click Choose File. Click Upload and there you have it. At LTU, our templates include the participant information sheet, which you can change the text on in the red areas to what you have had ethically approved. On page 2, we have the consent form. Here are the standard questions that should be included on all our consent forms, including optional questions that should only be included if they're appropriate for your study. Here you'll notice that those particular questions are preceded by the if appropriate text in brackets. Just delete that text if you are going to use them, and then use the red bin option on the left hand side to delete any of those particular questions that you do not need to include. Do not forget to remove the if appropriate text, as this can be misleading for participants. Next is the final page where we find our debrief sheet. Okay, now let's jump back to the dashboard and create a new survey from scratch. Give your survey a title. This title will be used in the survey URL. We are now in the standard survey builder. We can edit the title by clicking on it at the top and just renaming it if we wish to. If you've imported a survey, you will need to change this, as it will inherit the original survey's title. Surveys are structured using pages. It's a good idea to break your study down into individual pages so that you're not overfacing your participants with a lot of information on one page. For example, participant information sheet on page 1, consent form on page 2, and so on. We add new pages by clicking the Add New Plus button on the right hand side, and we can view the final page by clicking on the Final Page button, which is the last thing our participants will see. We can edit this by clicking on the pen icon in the top right hand corner. And here we can enter our text and style it using the rich text editor like it is in Word or Google Docs. For example, creating headers or adding images and videos, and creating a URL link using the link button. Sometimes we need to provide our participants with a response ID, so should they wish to withdraw at a later date, they can provide you with that code and you can withdraw their data. To do this, we need to click on the settings in the top menu and then toggle Show Response ID. When your participant completes your study and reaches the final page, they will be shown a unique response ID, which they will be able to copy and then send to you should they wish to withdraw. Okay, let's start building our survey. Click on page 1, click on the Untitled Page text box, and here we can edit the title of the page by clicking on the first box and typing in a new title, such as Participant Information Sheet. We can make the title visible to participants by toggling the eye icon on or off on the left-hand side, and we can check how this looks by using the preview button in the top right. There we are, we can see that the title is there. We can turn it off again by clicking the eye, and it's disappeared. This option is available on every page, and we can toggle both the title and the description if we've set one. Okay, and click on page 2, and this is typically our consent form page. Give it a title and click Finish Editing. Okay, now we need to add our consent questions by clicking on the Add New Item button. I find it best to use a single answer grid question. In the text box, add in your participant instructions. This isn't very good consent form text, so please just use whatever you've had ethically approved. For consent, we usually only want to give them one option, so delete the additional columns and add in the additional rows, one for each of your consent questions. In your column, type in your confirmation text. We usually want to ensure that our participants respond to all of our consent questions before progressing with our study, And to do this, what we're going to do is require them to answer each question by clicking the required toggle in the bottom right. This means they will not be able to proceed with the study unless they've provided full consent. Now you would enter your consent questions in each individual row. I'm not going to do it as I'm not going to make this study public, but that's what you would ordinarily do. So where it says row 1, you would enter in the text for your consent question, and so on for each of your consent questions. When you're done, click Finish Editing. Now on to page 3, where we're going to start adding our questionnaire or survey content. On page 3, we're going to add our demographics questionnaire, and we'll be using a few different question types to collect the information that we need. Click on Add Item, and here are all of the question types that Jisc provides. Our first question is going to be age, and for that we're going to use the single line text input question. Enter in our question text. Now we're going to set up some validation to ensure that our participants are responding using numbers, and to do that we click the gear icon in the bottom right, select validation, turn that on and select number integer. Here we have a couple of options, so we have an upper limit and a lower limit. I've set this one to 99 because that's the highest age that I'm willing to accept in my study. You can also set a lower limit, such as 18, to prevent participants from entering a value lower than that. However, I would recommend leaving that at 0. This is so that participants will be able to enter their age honestly, and if they are below your minimum age requirement, then you can exclude them from your study when it comes to analysis. If you specify an 18 age limit, it won't let a participant enter a value lower than 18, which could encourage them to lie just to be able to complete the study. When you've set your limits, if you've got any, just click the Finished button. Click Finish Editing on your question and then click Add New Item. Click on Single Line again. This time we're going to make an open-ended response for gender, allowing a participant to enter however they wish to identify. Set your question text, possibly guiding them with a few examples such as man and woman, but only enter text that you've had ethically approved. Click Finish Editing. Now click Add New Item again. Click on Single Answer, and this time we're going to enter a question of biological sex. So enter in your question text, and then provide your options such as female, male, intersex, and prefer not to say. One other option that you can set on these types of questions is multiple choices, randomized order or randomized choices. And this allows Jisc to shuffle the order in which these options are presented so there isn't any particular bias. This isn't necessarily useful in a demographic setting, but it could be useful in other questions in your questionnaire or survey. Next up, we're going to add a new page, and now we're going to add a questionnaire. In this example, we're going to use the GAD-7, which is a generalized anxiety disorder questionnaire that's commonly used to assess people's generalized anxiety. To do this, we're going to click on Add New Item. As the GAD-7 is a Likert scale, we're going to use the single answer grid question again. The GAD-7 has 4 response options, so we're going to add an additional column and change the column text to our response options. So not at all, several days, more than half the days, and nearly every day. Next, we're going to add a few more rows, 1 for each item. As there are 7 items in the GAD-7, we're going to add 7 rows. Copy and paste each item text into the rows, 1 item per row. Finally, copy in the instructions to the participant from the questionnaire, and double check the text will make sense to your participants. Click Finish Editing, and there we have our GAD-7 questionnaire. Now it's a good idea to preview your survey to check that it looks as we expect. Our participant information sheet is blank, which is how we left it. This is our consent form, and if we click Next, it won't let the participant proceed unless they've confirmed or agreed to each of the consent questions. Now they can fill in the demographics form, and here's the GAD-7. They make their responses. Unfortunately, we can't click Submit and see what the final page looks like. That's just one of the sort of idiosyncrasies of Jisc Online Surveys, but we know it should be set up properly. Next up is to set up the distribution of our survey. So this will make it available to our participants. To do this, we click the Distribution tab on the left-hand side. To launch the survey, click the Launch Survey button on the right-hand side, and to close it, click it again. There is a slight bug that doesn't let you close and open the survey again without reloading the page. So just hit refresh and you'll be able to reopen your survey. You can specify a start and end date for your survey so participants can only participate between a particular period. And that's really useful if you're trying to set a closing date so that you've got your data ready for analysis in time for, say, your dissertation write-up, that kind of thing. You can copy your survey's URL by clicking the Copy button in the Your Survey link area and test it in your browser by pasting it into the URL bar. You can also create a QR code by clicking on the QR code generator and click Download. Alternatively, you can also copy an iframe, which allows you to embed your survey in a website. Okay, and that's it. That's how you create a simple survey in Jisc Online Surveys. Now, if you've got any questions or comments, please pop them down below in the comments section. And if you found the content useful, please give it a like and subscribe to help my channel. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.